Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
The federal government's decision to use the £4.2 million Ibori loot recovered from the United Kingdom to fund legacy projects outside Delta State has stirred an ongoing nationwide debate as to the appropriateness or otherwise of its judgment. In a memorandum of understanding signed last week between the Nigerian government and the United Kingdom authorities, it was mutually agreed that the stolen funds be repatriated to Nigeria for use to benefit the citizenry. However, who should be the direct beneficiaries of the recovered loot has become a matter of controversy in the Niger Delta, as correspondent Tekena Miofori reports.
Chief James Onanefe Ibori, popularly known as Odidigboribo, served as governor of Delta State between 1999 and 2007 and was convicted by a UK court in 2012 on 10 charges of fraud and money laundering. After a protracted judicial process, the Nigerian government and its UK counterpart last week reached an agreement that the initial £4.2 million Ibori recovered loot should be repatriated from the UK to Nigeria. Soon after the deal was struck, Nigeria's Minister of Justice and Attorney General Abubakar Malami announced that the recovered Ibori loot will be used to fund the Abuja-Kano and Lagos-Ibadan expressways, as well as a second Niger Bridge project.
The Federal Executive Council, under the able leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has directed that the instant repatriated funds should be deployed towards the completion of the following legacy projects. 1. The second Niger Bridge. 2. Abuja to Kano Expressway. And 3. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
The federal government decision on the Ibori loot was immediately greeted with fireworks from various quarters. Chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Ishe Sage, had kicked against using the Ibori loot to fund projects outside Delta State, insisting that the projects earmarked for execution had no bearing on the lives of the ordinary citizens of Delta State who are direct victims of the official pilferage. In the same vein, the House of Representatives last week asked the federal government to ensure that proceeds of the financial crime against Delta State be repatriated to the state to reflect restorative justice. However, Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Malami, argues that a crime committed by the former Delta State governor was in breach of a federal law, adding that parties involved in the repatriation of the loot were federal actors and not subnational entities.
But the proper thing and the logical thing to do when you recover money stolen from money budgeted for a state that is stolen from that state, the proper thing to do is to return the money to the state. Maybe take off the cost of your recovering the money and return the money to the state.
Why will the federal government hand over the whole money to the Delta State government when the state government itself was not interested in that money, when they were even living in denial, and the federal government have spent hundreds of thousands and millions of naira to bring back that money? Now, what is the assurance that if the money is handed over to the state government, to the Delta State government, the Ibori so-called loot, how will the money be used? If it not be used properly.
The federal government's stand on the application of the recovered Ibori loot has followed a consistent pattern over the years. In 2013, the Delta State government lost its bid to claim $15 million allegedly paid by Ibori to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) as bribe to write off charges brought against him. In a judgment delivered on October 25, 2013, an Abuja division of the Federal High Court averred that the Delta State government, having failed to produce satisfactory evidence to prove that the controversial money was stolen from its treasury, was not entitled to reclaim it. In their analysis of the controversy surrounding application of the Ibori loot, some lawyers in the Niger Delta have come to the conclusion that the federal authorities may be reluctant to release the looted funds to the Delta State government out of concern that it may not be used to benefit the masses. This notion is informed by the fact that the former governor of Delta State still calls the shots in the political affairs of the state, despite having left the corridors of power since 2007.
Even if the federal government is going to say, okay, we can't trust Delta State with handling this money, after they didn't notice the money was missing, use it to execute federal government projects in Delta State, and that will make more sense.
Ask the communities to nominate projects and insist that some kind of supervisory, federal government supervisory agency will monitor how that money is being deployed, deployed and all of that, and then to make sure that the money is actually used for the benefit of the people who ordinarily should have benefited from it if it was not looted.
The £4.2 million released recently to the Nigerian government is only a tiny fraction of the £100 million Ibori loot currently in possession of the UK authorities. The federal government has hinted that it will pursue the release of the remaining Ibori loot, which exceeds monthly federal allocations to Delta states in a quarter. In demonstration of their solidarity with the people of Delta State, most Niger Delta activists have prevailed on the federal government to extend the legendary Ibori loot to the source from where it was pilfered between 1999 and 2007.
Inside the Niger Delta,